You'll never win, Ethan. By Christmas, Marcus will bury you and everything you've built will be mine. Those were the last words Sarah Cole spat across the table, her pen gliding across the divorce papers as she exchanged a smug glance with Marcus's attorney. What she didn't realize was that the man she thought she had broken was already 5 moves ahead, silently orchestrating one of the most brilliant financial counterstrikes in divorce court history. And the move he unleashed next wouldn't just shatter Marcus's empire, it would rewrite the very rules of betrayal, marriage, and revenge. Viewers, imagine the one person you trusted most plotting your downfall in secret. What would you do, walk away, or fight back? Drop your answer in the comments. Subscribe, like, comment, and watch till the ending to share this interesting story to family and friends. Sarah, I finally closed the deal. We can breathe again, Alex said, rehearsing the words in his head as he paced their narrow living room, the signed contract folded carefully inside his briefcase. He had practiced this line a dozen times already, in the mirror that morning, in the car during traffic, even under his breath in the office elevator. This was supposed to be their moment, the payoff for years of late nights and quiet sacrifices. The Rowan deal wasn't just a contract. It was salvation. A 5-year partnership with one of the biggest suppliers in the industry, worth more than any deal Alex had ever touched. It meant security for Sarah, a better school for Lily, maybe even enough to finally fix the roof that leaked every time it stormed. He glanced toward the kitchen where Sarah folded laundry at the table, humming absent-mindedly, her brow creased in that way it always did when her thoughts wandered elsewhere. He wanted to see her face light up. He wanted her to feel, for once, that they weren't clawing through life one overdue bill at a time. The words perched on his lips. Sarah, this deal changes everything. But before he could speak, a sharp knock rattled the front door. Alex froze. The knock came again, harder this time, insistent. Sarah looked up, puzzled. Who is that at this hour? When Alex opened the door, 2 figures filled the doorway, Detective Nia Collins and her partner, Detective Ward. Their presence carried the kind of authority that made the air heavy. Mr. Turner? Collins asked, voice clipped but calm. We need you to come with us. You're a person of interest in an ongoing investigation involving fraudulent transfers tied to the Rowan contract. The name hit Alex like a slap. What? That's impossible. I just signed it. Sir, Ward cut in, please cooperate. We'll explain everything at the station. Sarah's hands dropped the shirt she was folding, her eyes wide with disbelief. Fraudulent? Alex, what is going on? He turned, searching her face, desperate to reassure her. I swear I don't know. This is what I was about to tell you. This contract, it's real, it's everything we've been fighting for. But the detectives were already stepping forward. Collins held out her hand. Your briefcase, please. Reluctantly, Alex handed it over, his heart pounding. Inside that briefcase was his victory, his proof, his future. Yet in the detective's grip, it suddenly looked like evidence. Sarah rose from the table, her voice unsteady. There must be some mistake. Alex isn't, he wouldn't? Her words faltered as if doubt itself had slipped into her lungs. Collins' eyes flickered toward her. Ma'am, mistakes aren't our goal. The Rowan Company flagged irregular activity tied to your husband's credentials. We just need to clear it up. Alex wanted to shout that it was a misunderstanding, that someone had tampered with the files. But his throat tightened. Images flashed through his mind. Marcus leaning over his desk last week, offering to help reset his password. Claire's warning months ago about office politics. The odd text message that morning, don't sign. He never replied. He deleted it. Now, standing in his own living room with his wife staring at him like she didn't know whether to believe him, Alex realized this wasn't just a misunderstanding. It was a setup. Lily's voice floated down the hallway, sleepy and confused. Daddy? Who are they? Sarah turned sharply, shielding her daughter with her arm. Alex's heart splintered at the sight. His wife and child framed against the doorway, fear curling around them like smoke. I didn't do this, Alex whispered, his voice breaking. Sarah, you have to believe me. But Sarah didn't answer. Her silence cut deeper than any accusation. The detectives guided him out the door, the night air thick and suffocating. As they walked him to the waiting car, Alex glanced back at the house. Through the living room window, he saw Sarah clutching Lily, her eyes locked on the briefcase Collins carried away. And in that moment, Alex understood. The contract that was supposed to save his family had just become the weapon that might destroy it. The interrogation room was colder than Alex expected. Metal table, 2 chairs, a buzzing light that seemed deliberately designed to fray nerves. Detective Collins slid a folder across the table. Inside, screenshots of bank transfers. One for $85,000, another for $210. Each stamped with his credentials. Each dated the same day he'd signed the Rowan deal. "That's not me," Alex said, his voice cracking between fear and fury. "I never moved that money." Collins leaned forward. "Then explain why your signature is here. Explain why the metadata shows your laptop, your login." His chest tightened. Marcus. It had to be Marcus. He remembered the night he'd left his laptop in the office overnight, trusting his friend to update the Wi-Fi. He hadn't thought twice until now. "I didn't do this," Alex said again, forcing the words out like anchors in a storm. Collins studied him in silence. That silence was worse than shouting. It suggested doubt, and worse, it suggested pity. Finally she said, "Mr. Turner, if you want us to believe you, you'd better start remembering who else had access." He swallowed hard. He couldn't tell her about Marcus yet. Not without proof. Back at the house, Sarah sat on the couch clutching the spare copy of the Rowan contract she'd found in Alex's briefcase. Her hands shook as her eyes traced the ink. The signature looked like his, too much like his. But something about the slant was wrong. She remembered the little smudge at the bottom corner. A smudge Alex never made. Her phone buzzed. An unknown number. No message, just silence. She set it down quickly, her pulse racing. Lily padded into the room in her pajamas. "Mummy? Daddy said we could move." Sarah blinked. "Move? When did he say that?" "Last week. At school. He was talking with Uncle Marcus. I heard him say it." Sarah's stomach tightened. Marcus. Why would Alex be planning something with Marcus and not tell her? At the station, Alex buried his face in his hands. The fluorescent light hummed above. He thought about Sarah's expression when they took him away, wide-eyed, uncertain, not the face of a wife who trusted completely. Collins returned. She set a USB stick on the table, sealed in an evidence bag. "We found this taped inside your briefcase. Care to explain?" Alex's heart stopped. He had never seen it before. I don't know what that is." Collins' gaze didn't waver. "Mr. Turner, whatever game you're playing, you'd better hope you can win. Because right now, the contract you're so proud of looks like the heart of a multimillion-dollar fraud." The door opened suddenly and a uniformed officer stepped in, whispering something into Collins' ear. She frowned, then glanced at Alex. "Interesting," she murmured, sliding the USB back into the folder. "Seems someone's story just got more complicated." Alex's pulse hammered. Someone else. Somewhere in the dark, another hand was pulling the strings. Sarah didn't sleep that night. She sat at the kitchen table with the contract spread open, tracing every line of ink like it could tell her a secret. The house was silent except for the fridge's low hum, but her mind was loud with doubts. At dawn the doorbell rang. Lily was still asleep. Sarah wrapped her robe around her and opened the door. Marcus stood there, immaculate in a tailored suit, coffee in one hand, a folder in the other. His smile was too casual, too rehearsed. "Rough night?" he asked. Sarah frowned. "What are you doing here?" He stepped inside without waiting for an invitation. "I heard about Alex. News travels fast in our circles." His tone suggested pride in the fact. He set the folder on the counter. "Thought you could use some answers." Sarah stared at him, her gut twisting. She had never liked the way Marcus lingered when Alex wasn't in the room. Too smooth, too sure of himself. "What's in the folder?" "Proof." He slid it toward her. Inside were printed emails that looked like Alex's, promising Rowan executives a personal cut of their deal. One message was signed with Alex's name. Sarah's throat went dry. The words were his. The style was his. But something about the spacing, the phrasing, off just barely. "You're saying Alex sold out?" Marcus tilted his head, pretending sympathy. "I'm saying you deserve to know the truth. The man you're protecting may have gambled more than his career. He may have gambled you and Lily." Sarah clutched the folder, trying to process. The door creaked at the top of the stairs. Lily appeared, hair messy, hugging her teddy bear. "Uncle Marcus," she mumbled sleepily. "Are you moving in with us?" Sarah froze. Marcus laughed lightly, brushing the comment off. But Sarah's pulse thundered. Moving in? What had Lily overheard before? Marcus leaned close, lowering his voice. "If I were you, I'd prepare for the worst. Alex is going down hard. Courts, charges, maybe even prison. You need someone in your corner when that happens." The words slithered into the air like poison. Later, when Marcus finally left, Sarah locked the door behind him. She looked at Lily, who had gone back upstairs without a word, and whispered to herself, "What are you hiding, Alex? And why does Marcus already know so much?" At the station, Alex sat slumped, exhausted. Collins returned, dropping another document onto the table, a property deed. It bore his name, his signature, and listed a luxury condo in his ownership. "I don't own this," Alex snapped. "Then why is your down payment wired from your account?" He shook his head violently. "Someone's framing me." Collins' eyes narrowed. "Then maybe you should tell me who." Alex's mind flashed to Marcus again, but saying his name out loud felt like stepping onto a minefield. The detective's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then at him. "Interesting. Your wife just called us. She says she has emails we need to see." Alex's stomach dropped. Sarah sat in the back of the patrol car, the folder of printed emails clutched to her chest like it might burn her. She hadn't wanted to call the police. Not really. But Marcus's words had wormed their way into her head. "He may have gambled you and Lily." At the station, Detective Collins spread the papers across her desk. "You're certain these came from your husband's account?" Sarah swallowed hard. "That's what Marcus told me." Collins raised an eyebrow. "Marcus? His business partner." Alex trusted him. The detective tapped a finger on the corner of one email. "It's compelling. But convenient. These don't prove he typed them, only that someone could make it look that way." Sarah blinked, surprised. "So you don't believe they're real?" Collins leaned back. "I've seen enough setups to smell one. Still, I can't ignore them. They complicate Alex's case." Sarah's chest tightened. She had thought bringing the papers here would clear her conscience, but instead it felt like she'd tied another stone to her husband's ankles. Meanwhile, across the station, Alex sat in an interview room, his head pounding. He'd been allowed one call, but Sarah hadn't picked up. He couldn't shake the thought that Marcus was behind all of this. Marcus, who always smiled too wide, who knew too much about Sarah's favorite wine, who once whispered after a company gala, "If I were him, I'd never leave you alone at a party." The door opened. Collins entered with the folder. Alex's blood ran cold when he saw the emails. "Where did you get these?" he demanded. "Your wife handed them to me an hour ago." Alex's stomach nodded. "Sarah? No, she doesn't understand. These are fake. Marcus planted them." Collins studied him carefully. "That's the second time you've mentioned Marcus today. Why would he frame you?" Alex's fists clenched. He wanted to shout the truth, that Marcus had been circling his family like a vulture for years, but saying it out loud sounded paranoid, desperate. Still, he forced the words out. "Because Marcus wants my company. And maybe, my wife." Collins scribbled in her notebook. "Interesting theory. But right now, theories don't keep you out of jail." She gathered the papers and left, her heels echoing down the corridor. Alex dropped his head into his hands. Hours later, Sarah walked home with Lily. The evening air was crisp, but Sarah barely felt it. She couldn't erase the look on Alex's face in her memory, exhausted, betrayed. Lily tugged her hand. "Mommy, is Daddy in trouble?" Sarah hesitated. "No, sweetheart. Daddy's just sorting things out." But Lily shook her head. "Uncle Marcus said Daddy's going away for a long time." Sarah stopped dead on the sidewalk. "When did he say that?" "Yesterday. He told me to be brave because he'll take care of us." Sarah's heart thudded so hard it hurt. When they reached the house, Marcus's car was already in the driveway. He was leaning against it, smiling like he owned the place. Marcus looked too comfortable leaning against Sarah's car, as if the driveway already belonged to him. His tie was loosened, his sleeves rolled back, the picture of casual authority. Lily rushed forward before Sarah could stop her. "Uncle Marcus," she squealed, and he scooped her up effortlessly. Sarah's chest tightened. "Put her down," she said, sharper than she meant to. Marcus arched a brow but obeyed, setting Lily gently on the porch steps. "Relax, Sarah. I thought you might need company. It's a lot, dealing with Alex's mess alone." "Alex's mess," she repeated, her voice cold. "Funny how you always seem to know more about it than anyone else." He gave her that same infuriating half-smile. "That's because I've been cleaning up after Alex for years. You think contracts fall into his lap? Someone has to make the introductions, grease the wheels, play the game. Alex builds. I protect. That's how we've always worked." Sarah crossed her arms. "Protect? He's sitting in a cell while you're standing here free?" Marcus's eyes darkened. "Because I know when to walk away from a sinking ship." The words hit her like a slap. Lily tugged at her robe, whispering, "Mommy, I'm hungry." Sarah nodded quickly and ushered her inside, but Marcus followed, uninvited. In the kitchen, he opened her fridge like it was his own, pulling out a bottle of wine. "Look, Sarah, you've got a choice to make. The board won't wait forever. Investors are panicking. They'll need someone steady to steer the company, and it sure as hell won't be Alex from behind bars. She froze. You're saying they'd give it to you? They already have. He popped the cork, pouring 2 glasses. But a man in my position needs stability. Optics matter. Investors like the image of a family man. Which is why, he slid a glass toward her, you and Lily shouldn't have to suffer because Alex couldn't keep his hands clean. Sarah's hand shook as she pushed the glass back. You think you can just slide into his chair, into his life? You're insane. Marcus leaned closer, lowering his voice. I'm realistic. I know Alex. He'll fight, but he won't win. And when he falls, he'll drag you down with him. But if you stand with me, his eyes flicked upstairs where Lily's footsteps padded. Your daughter will never know what it feels like to lose everything. Sarah's pulse thundered. For a moment the room felt smaller, the walls closing in. She wanted to scream at him, throw him out, but part of her, the part terrified for Lily, hesitated. Before she could respond, her phone buzzed on the counter. A known number. She grabbed it. Sarah, Alex's voice came raw, desperate. Listen to me. Marcus is lying. The line cut. Static. Dead silence. Sarah's heart raced as Marcus leaned against the counter, sipping his wine, his smirk widening. Who was that? He asked softly, already knowing. The cell smelled of disinfectant and sweat. Alex sat on the narrow cot, replaying Sarah's voice in his head, the tremor when she said hello, the sharp intake of breath before the line went dead. Marcus had gotten to her. He could feel it like a bruise in his chest. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. Think, Alex. Think. If Marcus forged emails, planted documents, whispered poison into Sarah's ear, then the man had a plan bigger than a frame-up. And Alex knew Marcus well enough to recognize ambition when he saw it. The guard barked at him. You've got a visitor. Alex's heart jumped, hoping it was Sarah. But when the glass partition separated him from the visitor, his shoulders sagged. It wasn't her. It was Daniel, a junior engineer from the company, nervous, pale. Mr. Cole, Daniel whispered, glancing around like he wasn't supposed to be there. I shouldn't have come, but I need to tell you something. Alex pressed closer. What? Marcus told everyone you signed off on that condo deal. But I saw him in your office that night. He was alone, printing papers. He told me to forget it. I didn't think it mattered, but Daniel swallowed. Now, I think he was planting something. Alex gripped the phone. Daniel, listen. You can't breathe a word of this to anyone else. Not yet. Can you get into the server logs? Anything that shows who really sent those emails? I can try, Daniel whispered. His eyes darted nervously. But if Marcus finds out, don't let him. He'll come after you like he's coming after me. The guard knocked on the glass. Time was up. Daniel shot to his feet and hurried out, leaving Alex with a flicker of hope and a ticking clock. Back at the house, Sarah sat on the edge of her bed, staring at her phone. The call still buzzed in her bones. She wanted to believe Alex, but the emails sat heavy in her mind, undeniable on paper. And Marcus was everywhere now, offering comfort, offering protection, offering answers. Lily pushed open the bedroom door. Mommy? Why is Uncle Marcus downstairs again? Sarah stiffened. He's still here? Lily nodded. He was talking on the phone. He said you'll see the truth soon. Sarah's stomach dropped. She rushed to the landing, peering down. Marcus stood in her living room, phone to his ear, his voice smooth but sharp. Yes, it's handled, he said. She's almost there. Another day, maybe 2, and she'll stop asking questions. Sarah's breath caught. He was talking about her. Marcus ended the call and turned, catching her on the stairs. His smile was quick, dangerous. You shouldn't eavesdrop, Sarah. It gives the wrong impression. She forced herself to hold his gaze, even as fear prickled down her spine. Get out. He tilted his head. Careful. The wrong choice could leave you with nothing. And then he left, like he owned the place, leaving her trembling in the silence. Daniel's hands trembled as he typed, the glow of the office monitor casting sharp lines across his face. Midnight. The building was empty except for the hum of servers. He slipped past the firewall with Alex's old admin codes, praying Marcus hadn't purged everything. The logs blinked to life. Outgoing messages time-stamped. His stomach knotted. The fraudulent emails tied to Alex's account had been sent at 2:14 a.m., but the logs showed the access originated from Marcus's device ID. Proof. It was all there waiting to be pulled. He copied the files onto a flash drive, then froze. A sound. The elevator dinged. Daniel yanked the drive free and shoved it into his pocket. The doors slid open. Marcus stepped out. "Late night, Daniel?" His voice was casual, but his eyes were ice. Daniel's throat dried. Just finishing up some updates." Marcus strolled closer, hands in his pockets. "Funny. Updates don't usually involve Alex's account logs." Daniel forced a smile. I don't know what you mean." Marcus leaned against his desk, inches away, voice low and lethal. "I don't like loose threats. You're a smart kid. Don't make yourself one." Daniel nodded quickly, feigning compliance. Marcus left, but not before giving him a smile that promised consequences. Only when the elevator doors closed again did Daniel exhale. He had the proof. But now Marcus knew. Meanwhile, Sarah sat across from Marcus the next morning at a cafe, her face a careful mask. She had agreed to meet him, but inside, her resolve hardened. She had replayed his words from the phone, that smug confidence. If he thought she was almost there, she'd let him believe it. Marcus reached across the table, his hand brushing hers. "You don't have to be afraid. I can take care of everything, Lily's school, your mortgage, your future." Sarah forced a small smile, hiding the revulsion in her gut. "And Alex?" Marcus sighed theatrically. "Alex made his bed. But why should you drown with him? You deserve better." Sarah let her eyes linger on him just long enough to sell it. "Maybe you're right. Maybe I should stop asking questions." Marcus's grin widened. "That's my girl." But as he left the cafe, Sarah's hand slipped into her purse. Her phone was recording. Every word. At the station, Alex pressed his forehead against the glass partition again as Daniel slid into the visitor's chair, pale and sweating. He whispered, "I've got proof, Mr. Cole. But he knows I know. If he catches me, I'm finished." Alex's pulse hammered. "Listen to me. Get that drive to Sarah. She's the only one who can use it without Marcus silencing her first." Daniel hesitated, fear clawing at him. But he nodded. As the guard pulled Daniel away, Alex caught one last flash of determination in the kid's eyes. But deep down Alex knew. Marcus wouldn't let Daniel live with that flash drive in his pocket for long. Daniel gripped the steering wheel so hard his knuckles whitened. The flash drive felt like a live grenade in his pocket. Every car that pulled behind him, every shadow on the road looked like Marcus. At a red light his phone buzzed. A known number. He didn't answer. The light turned green, he accelerated, heart pounding. 2 blocks later, headlights flared in his rearview mirror. A sleek black sedan. His chest tightened. Marcus's car. Daniel turned sharply down a side street. The sedan followed. His breath came fast, shallow. He pressed harder on the gas, the city blurring. When he reached Sarah's street, he didn't bother parking. He jumped out, sprinted to her door and hammered the bell. "Sarah. Open up." She yanked the door wide, startled. "Daniel? What?" "Marcus, he knows. I've got proof, but he's right behind me." He shoved the flash drive into her hand. "Hide this. Don't let him." Tires screeched outside. The black sedan slid to a stop across the street. Marcus stepped out slowly, calm, composed, adjusting his cufflinks like this was all routine. Sarah's blood ran cold. Marcus's voice carried across the quiet street. "Evening, Daniel. I told you not to make yourself a loose thread." Daniel swallowed, backing toward Sarah's doorway. "You can't stop the truth now. She knows." Marcus smiled, chilling in its calmness. "She doesn't know enough." Sarah grabbed Daniel's arm and yanked him inside, slamming the door and locking it. She whispered fiercely, "Upstairs now?" They sprinted to the second floor. Sarah shoved the drive into Lily's toy box beneath a pile of dolls. Her hands trembled as she whispered to Daniel, "If he comes in, we stall. Got it?" Downstairs, Marcus's voice floated through the locked door. "Sarah, open up. You know I wouldn't hurt you. I just want to talk." Lily's small voice piped from the hallway. "Mommy, why is Uncle Marcus here again?" Sarah grabbed her daughter and pressed a finger to her lips. "Shh, baby. Stay quiet." The doorknob rattled, then stilled. Silence. Sarah's pulse thundered in her ears. She crept to the window. Marcus was gone. The street empty. But she didn't believe it. Not for a second. Later that night, Alex paced in his cell, restless. He couldn't sleep. He could feel Marcus's next move pressing closer, like the air before a storm. He needed to act before Marcus buried Daniel, Sarah, and any chance of the truth. He slammed his fist against the wall, startling his cellmate. Alex muttered to himself, voice low but fierce. If Marcus wants a war, he's going to get one. Meanwhile, Sarah sat at the edge of Lily's bed, stroking her daughter's hair. She glanced at the toy box where the flash drive hid, her stomach twisting with fear. She whispered under her breath, almost a vow. I don't know how, Alex, but I'll find a way to bring him down. The morning felt wrong from the moment Sarah opened the curtains. The street outside was too quiet, the kind of silence that made her skin crawl. She glanced at the toy box in Lily's room, where the flash drive lay hidden. Every instinct screamed that Marcus wouldn't wait long. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered cautiously. Sarah, Alex's voice rasped through the line, hushed and urgent. Listen to me. Daniel got to you, didn't he? He gave you something. Her heart skipped. Yes. But Marcus almost caught him. He knows we have it. Good, Alex said, almost a growl. That means Marcus is desperate. Desperation makes people sloppy. Keep it safe, Sarah. Whatever happens, don't let him get it. That drive is the only thing standing between us and ruin. Before she could respond, the line clicked dead. Moments later, a knock thundered on the door. Sarah froze. Then a voice, police. Mrs. Cole? Open up. We have a warrant. Her hands trembled as she unlatched the door. 2 officers entered, followed by Detective Collins, her face tight. Sarah, we need to search the premises. New evidence came in this morning. Sarah's gut twisted. Marcus. Of course. They swept through the house. Sarah tried to act calm, but every step closer to Lily's room made her heart hammer. If they found the drive, Marcus would bury the truth forever. Collins paused at the doorway of Lily's room. What's in here? My daughter's room, Sarah said quickly. She's sleeping. Please don't wake her. Collins hesitated, then motioned the officers away. We'll come back later. Relief washed over Sarah so hard her knees nearly buckled. When the officers left, Sarah sat heavily on the couch, shaking. She couldn't keep the evidence in the house. It wasn't safe, not for her, not for Lily. That night, Sarah tucked Lily into bed, kissed her forehead, and whispered, Mommy has to run an errand. Stay here no matter what. She took the flash drive from the toy box, slipped it into her purse, and drove into the city. But she wasn't alone. From a black car parked across the street, Marcus watched her taillights fade. His jaw clenched as he dialed a number. She's moving it. Follow her. Don't let her out of your sight. Meanwhile, at the station, Alex cornered Collins during her late shift. You think I'm guilty, he said, voice taut. But you know something doesn't add up. Those emails? Too perfect. The condo? Too clean. You've been a cop long enough to smell a frame job. Collins studied him, arms crossed. You've got 10 seconds to convince me. Check the server logs. Not the copies Marcus gave you. The originals. And talk to Daniel before Marcus silences him for good. Collins's expression flickered. She didn't answer, but she didn't walk away either. Back on the road, Sarah gripped the wheel tighter as headlights appeared in her rearview mirror. The same sleek black sedan. Her pulse skyrocketed. Marcus wasn't sending messages anymore. He was coming for her. The black sedan stayed on Sarah's tail through every turn, every red light. Her palms were slick on the wheel, heart pounding like a drum inside her chest. She couldn't go home, couldn't go to the police station, not with Marcus's people shadowing her. She needed somewhere unexpected. Somewhere Marcus would never think she'd go. Her eyes caught the glow of a church cross in the distance. She swerved sharply into the parking lot, gravel crunching under her tires. She jumped out, clutching the purse with the flash drive, and ran inside. The heavy oak doors groaned shut behind her. The sanctuary was empty except for the faint echo of her breath. She ducked behind a pew just as the doors creaked open again. Footsteps. 2 men. Not Marcus but his muscle. Sarah gritted her teeth, whispering to herself, "Don't freeze. Not now." She slipped down the side aisle, darting through a side door into the vestry. At the same time, across town, Collins sat in front of her computer screen. She'd done it, pulled the original server logs. What she saw made her blood run cold. Every so-called email from Alex had been sent from Marcus's home IP. Every timestamp manipulated. It was the cleanest frame job she'd ever seen, and suddenly it all clicked. Her phone buzzed. An unknown number. She almost ignored it, until Daniel's voice rasped through. "Detective. Marcus is moving tonight. If Sarah has the drive, she's in danger." Collins bolted up. She knew where she had to go. Back at the church, Sarah climbed a narrow staircase that led to the choir loft. Below, the men scanned the pews. She could hear their low voices, their calm certainty that they'd find her. Then her phone buzzed. Lily's name lit up the screen. Panic shot through her. She silenced it instantly, praying they hadn't heard. but one of them snapped his head upward. There. Sarah ran. She sprinted across the loft, flung open a door and stumbled onto the roof. Cold night air hit her like a slap. Below her stretched the dark city, indifferent and vast. The men burst out behind her. Hand it over, lady. Marcus doesn't want you hurt. But he will take it by force if he has to. Her chest heaved. She pulled the flash drive from her purse, holding it up against the night sky. You want it? Then take it, but know this, I already sent copies. A lie. But a convincing one. The men hesitated. And then headlights cut across the parking lot. A car screeched to a stop. Detective Collins stepped out, gun drawn, voice slicing through the night. Police, drop your weapons. The men froze. Sarah's knees buckled with relief. Collins's eyes found hers, and in that moment, Sarah knew, she believed Alex. Hours later, Marcus Cole was led out of his glass tower in handcuffs, cameras flashing like lightning storms. The mighty billionaire exposed as a fraud. Alex walked free into the cold morning air, the weight of months finally lifting. Sarah stood waiting for him, Lily asleep in her arms. For the first time in years, their eyes met not with bitterness, but something rawer, recognition. The world saw Marcus fall. But Ethan and Sarah, finally, saw the truth. Subscribe, like, comment and share for more interesting stories.